Well, hi guys. It's Wednesday the 7th or 8th of April. Just got done putting the 1850 back together. Got the new line wire run to the temperature sending unit all the way up to the gauge. It's all in, everything's hooked up. All the sheet metal's back on, antifreeze is in, and now it's just basically fire it up. And need fuel. I can do that. I'm going to let it start up and run and see what happens. That's all I can do at this point. So we'll be back here in just a second, guys. Hopefully this works. So hang on. We'll be back. So hi guys. I figured I'd drive through the field and see how wet it was. Well, I just found out. It's wet. This is a prime example of why you don't get on this ground early. Because it'll drop out from under you real quick. About right there down, she's wet. Really wet. It might be 1st of April and everybody around here is running like hell to get your corn ground ready. Gotta get it planted. Gotta get it planted. This is a prime example of why you don't do that. Not work ground. If in this ground, if you no-till like all these guys are doing around here, they run in, hit it with a turbo till, air it, warm it, plant it. Year after year after year, that ground is hard as a rock. And if it gets dry, the roots can't get down in the ground. What I call wham bam thank you ma'am farming. I could go right over there and drive anywhere I wanted to on it, I bet. Because it's been no-tilled so many years and the ground is compacted, literally. From years of four-wheel drives and big grain carts running around the field chasing the combines all the time. But it's hard. And it's hard as a rock. This ground is what I plowed up last spring, and I chisel plowed the other half of it. The front half is no-till, and I can drive anywhere I want over there where I had to wheat. That ground is hard. But, you know, coming right down there, I'm not even halfway down the field. And all at once it just dropped out. So, kind of a good reason I am not in the field doing anything. It's too early. Plus the fact that they're calling for rain tonight, tomorrow. Wednesday Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then supposed to be partly cloudy Sunday and rain again Monday, Tuesday. So there's no sense of working ground up and letting it wash away. So I figured by now this thermostat had to have opened up, but yet we're not moving. And that's aggravating me. Kind of in the you farm ground long enough, you learn what you can do and what you can't do. Well, I'll be back here in a minute, guys. Hang on. Okay, guys. Here's my point. This is the wettest spot in this field, right where I'm sitting. And I'm barely leaving any tracks whatsoever. This is what no-till ground around here is like. It's hard. And I went halfway down that field, back there by the woods, and I got stuck. Because that's work ground. And if it won't hold this tractor up, when the rest of this ground, you know, when this field is dry and hard, you know, I could literally disc this up and plant it today. Literally. I doubt if it grows, but it could be done. But it kind of proves my point between no-till ground and work ground in this area. This is what no-till ground does. Now, last fall, fall of 2019. This was all worked up and I planted the wheat. I no-tilled beans into the stubble last spring, well last summer after the wheat was off. And this is 1 year. 1 year no-till. And I can see that big of a difference right here. Like I say, right there is the drain of the field. I'm sitting in the lowest place in this field. In the wettest part of this field right here, and I'm not thinking, I'm barely leaving any marks. So it's kind of in the getting a better understanding of no-till. Tell you what, I'll be back here in a minute. Oh, temperature gauge has come up some, so it might work. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. That is the most that temperature gauge has ever come up. So I have to believe it might work now, because the sending unit's new, the temperature probe is new. Well, the sending unit's new, the wire's new. The gauge shows it works. Now, where's all this coming from? I have to do some investigating. But I think it's going to be all right now. Now, back to what I was saying about the ground. Neighbor down the road, I can see them, they're spreading fertilizer down there. The field just on the other side of that, they worked yesterday. No, they worked it Monday. Kind of half expect them to see them roll in next door any time. But I don't know how I want to put this. You got to know this ground, and you got to understand the ground you have. And when you understand the ground you have, you know what you can do and you can't do. Okay? One side of the road to the other. You know, field across the road looks as dry as this does right out here, where I was just in. But I know absolutely for a fact, if I was to go bebopping out across that field, I bet I wouldn't go 50 feet and I'd be stuck. Because it'll fool you. Looks dry on top, but you go down a few inches and it's muck. It's just pure mud. And the neighbor's ground next to us, the ground next to us over here, is the same as on this side of the road. And all these guys around me are all no-till guys. But they're not actually doing no-till as much as they are minimum till. They come in with a turbo till, give it 2 or 3 passes, plant it. And you've just seen, literally, I almost got stuck back there by the woods halfway down the field. So I know if it's wet right there, the bottom of it is even worse. But yet I can come right up here to this front field where it's not been turned for basically 2 years, and you can drive anywhere you want to go on it. And it just, that's the type of soil that's here. It is some funny stuff. I mean, you just can't decide what you're going to do. I mean, you got to do what the ground will let you do. And my whole thought process is this: if the ground that has not been worked in 2 years is hard enough to drive on right now, and the ground I worked up last spring is wet enough that I just about got stuck halfway down the field, that shows you how hard this ground is. If I was down in the wettest place there, that's where the field drains, and I don't leave any marks in the field, it's hard. I've got the neighbor that farms right next to Mom and Dad's house. They were in today spreading fertilizer and spraying burn down. Got a no-till, get that seed in the ground. Gotta plant, gotta plant. To hell with that. I know better. It does the same thing every year. And guys just get into this, you know, this idea, you gotta plant, gotta plant, gotta plant. Does the same thing. You'll get a week to 2 week time frame where it warms up and gets dry and everybody gotta hit it. And then it turns cold, wet, and nasty. It does it every year. And guys fall into that trap every year. They never learn. Yeah, I know there are special seed that you can buy that won't germinate until the exact temperature and all this bull crap. It's a load of horse crap. You're paying, you know, way more for seed so you can just fly across all the ground in the country. Well, in dollars and cents for a small farmer, it don't pay. It just doesn't pay to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would love to be out there working ground right now. But if I got 5, 6 days, 7 days, you know, a week's worth of where they're saying rain and heavy rains, I'm not going to work ground up to let it lay there for a month. That's kind of foolish. And it's not going to do my land any good. It's going to wash it off. So I'll wait. I don't have no problems waiting. I've learned. It's kind of in the, like I said, today is a prime example that shows what no-till ground and what work ground side by side in the same field can look like. You know, this is hard as a rock and wet and dry. That back there is wet and soft. So if you were to just say no-till all this ground and it got dry, you know what's going to grow good and what's not going to grow good? This here is not going to grow very good. That back there will thrive. So it's kind of in that, what do you do? I understand no-till. I can see beneficial aspects to it. If you have the right ground to do it on. This is not no-till ground. I mean, if you want to do straight no-till, where you just spray burn down and come in and plant, this is not the ground for that. There are guys like the neighbor over there who farms 10 miles from here in totally different soils, who seems to think that, you know, no-till's the golden answer to everything. Well, it's not. Not here. It's like cover crops. There are guys in this area who have tried it for years at, you know, different just say cereal rye. They have tried it from a bushel an acre to half a bushel an acre to, a quarter. And the problem with this ground here in this little area of southwest Ohio is that if the ground is covered and the sunlight can't get to it, it won't dry. And I'll answer this question right now. Everybody says tile the ground, tile the ground, tile the ground. I can show you a couple of fields that are tiled that you can look on a satellite and see exactly where every tile run is in the photo, because nothing grows there, because it dries out just like that. In fact, I know one fellow who keeps an eye on the forecast, who routinely goes out and plugs the outlets, so the drain tiles actually hold water as a reservoir, just for this reason. So it runs the gamut. Every farm is different. Every farmer is different. What works here, say if I drove over to Jacob's house, which is 5 miles cross country, what works here is not going to work there, and what works there won't work here. So what do? Know your ground. Know what works and doesn't work. Don't fall into the trap of, you got to hit it early. You got to get that seed in the ground. If you know your ground, you know what to do and not do. But at any rate, guys, I'm going to get off here. I think the 1850 is done now. The temperature probe, temperature gauge, has moved more today than it has since I've had it. Now, there's a new probe in there, new wire run from here all the way to the gauge, number 12 wire. So I know the wire's good. I know the probe is good. It's new. So we changed the old probe. Worked because we put it in a different tractor and tried it, and it worked. And we know this probe also works. It's got a new wire. So if it is not the probe, it is not the wire, and this gauge, we took it out and put it in another tractor, and yes, it did work. So I know this gauge is good. So I really don't know what it could be if it doesn't work now. But at any rate, guys, I'm going to call this a success and call her ready to go. I need to check, just kind of go over the oils and stuff, check them. I know I'm a little bit low on the hydropower. It's got a leak. See that right there on the ground. What it needs is some seals, and if you're going to do that, you got to pull the motor. So I pull it, it'll get rebuilt, and then it's tractor's right. Oh, hi, Tig. Kind of On an interesting but different kind of side note, make this short and sweet. I've been trying to get things done as I can. For about the last 3 weeks to a month, I've been dealing with kidney stones again. And you really don't do a whole lot when they're bothering you. I've been here the whole day, and it's literally run a wire, put the sheet metal back on, fill the radiator up, and that's what I've done this whole day, because I just, one, don't have the energy, and two, it hurts. So kind of bear with me. That's the reason there hasn't been a lot of videos, is for that reason. So bear with me. So we'll see you next time, guys. And as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Hit that like button and ring that bell for new notifications. I'm glad this is done now. Really glad. And I got my nice clean tars all muddy. Oh well. We'll see you next time.